I bring some important people up here, and then I want to embarrass other important people who are going to be sitting in the audience. So let me start by bringing screenwriter Carrie Howley. And our producers, Amanda, Julie, Amit, Giovanni, and our cast, and Scott. Okay, we have Emilia, Zach, Danny, Kathryn. Welcome up, guys. And I also just want to give a shout out to Peter Saraf, our executive producer in the audience. Before we start the Q&A, I just want to ask reality winner and her mom, Billy, and her sister Brittany to stand up and wave for us, please. And also, I'll just do one more of these. And also, for the crew who's in the audience, we have a few of you guys here. Editor, Joseph Krings, our costume designer, Anastasia, Lucas, production designer, Sarah White, Dan Beckerman, Eddie Rubin. Just raise your hands, guys. Thank you for doing such an incredible job. Everyone, hire them. Okay, now the questions can start.
And I'll start with a softball. Tell me a little bit about the genesis of this project and why you wanted to tell the story right about now.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let Carrie and Amanda take that because they started it all, and then.
It was exactly 7 years ago this week, and it was on a flight to Sundance that I was reading New York Magazine, and I read Carrie's article. America's biggest terrorist wears a Pikachu. What is it? Sweatshirt. Bedspread. Yeah, has a Pikachu bedspread. And it caught my attention, and I was obsessed with it immediately, the way that Carrie wrote it. And I was obsessed with this person who I hadn't met yet, and I didn't know was going to become such a big part of my life, but here we are. And I cold called Carrie, and I said, I want to make this movie. And she said, I want to write the script. And we did. We took a chance on each other.
Yeah, this story came to me as just, I believe, just an email that said, what about Reality Winner? And I thought, what about Reality Winner? And it's one of those things that you feel like you're on to such an incredible personality that you're like always kind of looking behind your shoulder thinking who else is writing this story. But nobody else was. It was always just me. And every anecdote I found, I felt was a more like likable, maybe not relatable, but like a deeply compelling character. Like the conflict created by someone who just can't help but help is maybe a little bit underexplored. And so that's just kind of where we went with it. And we had always imagined the film, I think, as a largely comedic undertaking. We weren't interested in a kind of like literally dark whistleblower film because that's not how life is, right? Absurdity and profundity relate to one another. So that's where we went.
And tell me a little bit, in the scriptwriting process, how did you balance, we were so impressed, it's so cinematic, but it's also so human. How did you balance the fidelity to the real story against, your hope to make an entertaining, funny movie?
I mean, this is something I cannot take credit for. Reality is just genuinely so funny, right? Everybody had stories about her. Everybody had, sometimes you do interviews and people just only speak in abstractions and you can't get anywhere, but with reality, everyone had such a clear picture of who this person was and what they were fighting for. And it was, that part, the personality just kind of wrote itself.
And for the cast who here did such a wonderful job, we felt like it was such a human portrayal, but of course you brought it to life on the silver screen. Talk to me about how you prepared to play actual people, it's such a unique performance task. How did you rise to it?
You go first. So I was able to go to Texas and spend time with Reality, and it was so fun. I got to meet all the animals she rescues, all her dogs, her cat, her horse, Trouble. And I did her yoga class and her CrossFit class. I wanted to do both because I was like, I can show her that I can play her. It was a huge mistake because I literally couldn't walk for like 3 days afterwards. Shouldn't have said that because you're sitting right here, and I was trying to be cool. But yeah, I was just able to get to know Reality. I really did think going into meeting Reality, I would have all these questions to ask her, and then I found myself, when I got there, just getting to know Reality as a person. And I think that that's perfect, really, because that's what we were trying to do with this movie. We were trying to humanize Reality and show everybody that she's just so much more than a name and a headline. Yeah, it was a lot of work. I worked out every day. I was trying to get muscles. And I would send, what I love about Reality is she doesn't mince her words and she's very honest. And I would send Reality these update pictures. And at first there was only a little bit of progress and Reality would go, cool, nice. And then by the end she was like, dude, you're actually like, you're getting muscles. And it was just, honestly, it was such a privilege to be able to play you. And yeah, I'm so grateful that you guys took a risk in casting me. And yeah, I'm so happy that I have Reality in my life now. I really do love you, and I loved playing you.
I just took an acting class online. Hard to follow. Well, the interesting thing about Andre was that he is an amalgamation of people, and so in some ways in a story that has so many truths, I think the really interesting part that when we talked for the first time, Susanna brought the story and kind of like her vision on Andre, and just the side of building out this person that's only been known by headlines and the private life that is shared between people that they love. And I thought that would be incredibly important to fully telling the story properly. And so, yeah, that's Andre came to be from that.
I was part of that acting class. It was really helpful. We got to speak, and Brittany is a scientist. She's very different than her sister, but they love each other. And what really drew me to the role was wanting to be a part of... She was on the other side. It's not about her. She's a small part of the movie that we saw, but Brittany has a whole life that was affected. And so in the little moments of every scene, you know, you want to think about what was she going through, and I just wanted to kind of try my best to show what she might be going through as a real human in real life dealing with this, and how her sister's actions, you know, what happened to her on the other side. And today I got to meet her daughter for the first time, and now we're just celebrating and supporting this film. What about you? How did you play your role in the movie?
Shut up.
Okay, any questions from the audience today? Don't be shy, unless you are shy, in which case that's fine. Yeah, in the back.
Well, I'd like Reality to take a mic, and we'd like to hear what she thinks of the film.
We'll take questions for anyone who's up here on stage. Does anyone have one like that? Shyness persists. All is well, yeah.
Are you hopeful that a movie like this will kind of help speed up policy liberation, or I guess if you don't want to?
Well, you could speak to the political dimension of the film if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are hoping that, it's funny, in the years it's taken to make this film, there's been a shift in the zeitgeist in terms of people having an appetite for politics and talking about the world, and people wanting to shut it out. Like, there was a period during COVID where we were trying to get this movie made and people were like, oh God, no more politics. I just want to escape and the world is ending and can't deal with it. And now I think people are really engaging in a different way. Like, people want to talk about the election, people want to talk about like global politics, and I think in general it's it's a good time for this film, we hope, because we hope that people do speak up and get involved in whatever the cause is that they believe in, and that they don't hesitate to know that they can have an impact and a voice. So I would apply that globally and also domestically to our impending situation.
Yeah, it's a film about conviction.
What level of influence did the other reality movies have on this one?
Question about the other reality movies swirling around, and if there was any influence on your process.
Yeah, like I got to know the filmmaking teams of those two movies, and we've all sort of like devoted years of our life to telling stories about the same person. We all have love for her, and yet we're all such different storytellers in terms of what like side of the story we wanted to focus on. So we had this dream of doing this podcast, if anybody here's a podcast producer, where we would be like the three different realities and everybody gets to talk about their version of the story, but and then reality comes on at the end and like makes fun of everybody. That would be how that would end. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because we were sort of we're all like, what's this other thing? What's this other thing? And then after a while, we realized just how different the stories are. There's one that's really about, the documentary about her time in the drone program, and the drone program itself. And then there was Tina Satter's amazing movie that really like is laser focused on this flashpoint moment for her of her interrogation. And then there's this coming of age story where it's not until 70 minutes into the film that she does this thing, and what leads to that, and what's the family, the sister, the mom, like her sense of humor. So hopefully the three of them tell the story of this person in this way, impressionistic way. But yeah, so the relationship is like three people who want to do a podcast together.
Forthcoming, we will see. Anyone else? Yeah.
My question is for Emilia. Do you know what your next Sundance film is going to be?
Questions for Emilia about what your next Sundance film will be.
Did I mention that this is my favorite film festival?
It's on the record.
No, I'm so happy to be back. Coda was online, and I remember when it was online, Sean, the director, kept saying, "Oh my gosh, like you don't know what you're missing." And at the time, I was like, I'm having a great time. Like we're winning awards, and it's so exciting. And then last year, when I came with Fairyland and Cat Person, I was like, oh, I was missing a lot. This is amazing. It's an amazing experience. And then, yeah, I did say actually to my family, I was like, I hope I can come back at some point. Like, it was so much fun. I didn't think it would be the year after. So I'm so grateful to Sundance. And it's so fun. I mean, I love indie movies. So it's so great that we can all be here and celebrate them.
Couldn't agree more.
So, first off, congratulations everyone, amazing job. My question is really about like stylistically for the film. I mean, in a genre of like, I guess, political genre of the film, this definitely separates itself. It's definitely pokes fun at itself, but also kind of gives some vibes of like, I guess like a 2000s teen movie. So what kind of inspired that and kind of made you want to go in that direction?
The question's about the style of the film and how you adapted that to the story.
Yeah, I mean, I think just a fatigue of seeing political films be all male and all serious and all in an office and all in suits and all wonky. So fatigue of that made us want to do something different. But also, as Carrie was saying, and I think as everyone is saying, like reality is a specific iconoclastic person. Like she's not a movie trope, and it's an opportunity to show that a person who's funny, who could be like the funny, quirky heroine in a movie like that, can also do something really substantial. So it also felt exciting just in terms of making movies about young women and how easily dismissed they are, or the stakes are usually not this. So it was nice to say, the stakes can be high and the person can still be, a dork who has specific interests that are relatable. It's not like, she's always, doing grandiose political acts every second. She's also just a person who watches Parks and Rec, like everyone, So it was wanting to show that person, and in that way to show an audience that they're also capable of doing something, brave like that if they want to, whether they look or act like the character in a typical whistleblower movie. But also I love all the movies that you are probably referencing, so yeah.
Time for a couple more. Right here.
Second collaboration in a row between you two. Did you find two amazing performances and dynamic? Any difference, director, star, preparing for the role that you saw between Cat Person and this, similarities, differences?
Well, there's less traumatic sex in this. I mean, it was amazing to work with Emilia again because there's such a shorthand, and with indie movies, you never get enough time to rehearse and really get to know the person. You're like instantly thrown into a situation of giving feedback to a famous stranger, which is very stressful for a director. But having worked with her before and become friends before, yeah, we could cut right to it. You know, you don't have a lot of time, and you could be like, "Was this good? I don't know." It was like, yeah, it's not that good. It could just be really fast. So I don't know the speed of it.
Yeah, no, it's the same for me. I mean, as you say, you don't have a lot of time, but it meant that we just knew each other inside out, and we had that trust already, and it was really fun. Like occasionally we'd be in such a rush and it'd be the last scene of the day, and Susanna would just give me a look and I'd know exactly what that meant. And I used to go home and go, "That's really cool," but you almost have this like this own language thing going on. And I love Susanna. I think she's a phenomenal director, but also a phenomenal person. I really, really love her. And I loved doing both Cat Person and Winner because, as you say, they are so different. But it was really fun working in the same way, but your Susanna is amazing at tweaks. She can like transform a scene with just a tiny little nuanced tweak. And yeah, it was fun how you would still tweak things, but it was so different because what we were doing was so different. As you say, there was absolutely no sex for 8 pages. But it was really, really fun, and I'm so grateful to Susanna because you kind of, you took a risk casting me, and yeah, I hope we can work together again, again and again and again.
Yeah, Emilia is like a total character actress, like just the level of research and like inhabiting a role. I just had no doubt that she was gonna be really type A about the whole thing and color code notes on her script, which is something that I also do. But yeah, like she just like dials into it in the most academic possible way. And so for this role, it was interesting. Like I just knew that she was gonna go all in, which we needed really.
A dynamic duo, absolutely. All right, close this out. Time for one more. Yeah.
We know about Zach's online class, but did the other actors and the director talk about their training or certain teachers that had a big influence on them and brought them to where they are now?
You want to know about the teachers who have influenced the cast members? Great.
Actors and director.
Sure. Maybe where you draw inspiration from, or some...
Ted Slabowski. I don't know if you guys know him, but Ted Slabowski.
Someone new?
Emilia Jones, Zach Galifianakis, Connie Britton. The people you work with, you learn a lot from. Just learn on the go. That's all I got.
I agree. I feel like I learn so much from everyone I meet and from everyone I work with. Zach, I just have to call you out because you're so funny in real life, but he's also like, I remember everyone knows that Zach was funny and he's just such a nice guy, but I remember when we were filming those really emotional scenes, I found myself actually getting really, really emotional. And I learn a lot from everybody I work with.
I'm teaching an online course now.
You get a URL?
Just hit me up on Twitter.
Awesome. How about another big round of applause for the entire team behind Winner? Thanks so much for coming with us today. Hope you see us in the streets.